Stop. I'm like, there it is.
So we've got the show going before we even get onto the live screen. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Hello, hello,
hello. Good evening. Hey, Michelle.
Hey there.
So welcome to Epic Women Uniting. And I want to say I'm extremely excited this evening because we found a young man who had the nerve, is the best way I can put it, to come onto a show called Epic Women Uniting. So I'm going to switch us over real quick. As you all know, I am Michelle Proctor, and I host Epic Women Uniting, and I had the luxury of being able to get a couple of our very senior business partners to join us this evening, Mr. Dale and Danette Montague. How are you all doing this evening? I'm just going to throw it over to you to introduce yourselves.
We are doing extremely well, Michelle. We are honored to be on your call. I am happy that my sidekick, my husband here, decided to join us. So he is the first male guest, I believe.
Yes. Our first. Pat yourself on the back, Dale.
Thank you for the invite.
So to give our audience a little bit of background, where are you two from?
Well, we are from we live in North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina. We've been here now for about 20 years, 22 years, I don't know, somewhere in there. We've been married for 20 years, and we have two children. One we just dropped off at college, so she's a freshman in college, and we have a freshman in high school. So that is a little bit about our story, and we'll share a little bit more as time permits.
Yes, we will. Yeah. I'm just glad to be with you tonight, guys. I'm actually grew up in North Carolina, and I'm a retired law enforcement. So I've been retired for 10 years now, and been just having fun since then. And we love our kids. We love everything. We love life. We just enjoy ourselves. So I'm excited to be here this evening. We're excited to be with you guys.
Well, I'm excited. I mean, I can tell you, like I said, pat yourself on the back. I was so giddy knowing that we actually had a male that was willing to join us on our show. So I think you're kind of starting a trend because as I made this known that Dale Montague agreed to come join us, I had other business partners saying, yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you asked. I'm excited to be on. I am, really am,
Okay. Let's see if you say that as I start drilling down all my questions that I have for you.
Okay. We're gonna get through this all right.
Okay. You know we are. Okay. Okay, so before I get started with the questions that I have prepared this evening, I know a lot of times people want to share their why. So do you all mind sharing your why as far as why you all decided to start a business or what helped bring that to fruition for you all?
Well, I'll speak first. Years ago, I'm a software engineer, and I traveled an enormous amount of time away from my husband. And I got a call one day from my best friend, and she said, well, you know what, Danny, you're always traveling, you travel anyway. Why don't you take a look at this business? And I thought to myself, well, what kind of business is it? And she said, travel. And I thought, well, I'm already doing it. So at that time, it was had entered in my mind about having a business, but I just didn't know exactly what kind of business. So that was when I dived into a travel business, and the years passed by, and we are still a part of the travel industry. And I'll let my husband share with you his side of his why. And after I coerced him a little bit to join the business, he'll share what he has to say about why we joined.
Yeah, I think for me, it has always been my family, because like Danette said earlier, we just sent our daughter off to college, and for any of you that have gone through that, you know that experience. But over the years, we were thinking about how things were going to happen down the road. And for me, when I retired over 10 years ago, we were involved in the industry, and my why kind of became more solid, because I knew that in the future there were going to be certain things that we wanted to do in our lives. So, for me, it was more of being able to provide those opportunities to leave a legacy for my children so that they would be able to, move on and enjoy life so that we won't, leave them with any, with bills and things like that, but with a legacy. So that was one of the reasons why, that was really the strong reason why, I chose to be a part of this and still is working towards my family and just, just want to be able to enjoy retirement and my retirement years.
Awesome.
So that was it.
And so did the both of you decide to join this as a couple? So you both joined at the same time?
Well, no, actually, when we started in this industry, it's been over 13 years now.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been over 13 years that we started in the industry. And at that time, of course, being in law enforcement, I had other things that I was doing at that time, and I just didn't think I had time to get involved in anything. And my wife actually got involved before I did. And she, she was coming home excited about what she was doing. And I was like, look, you do your thing. I ain't got time for that. Da, 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 da. And so, and I'm going to tell you this story. You guys got to hear this one because it's very interesting how it started. Because she would be on the phone with our sponsor. And I would be like, who knows she talking to? And she would be talking to him more than she talked to me. And it was kind of funny, but every time I turned around, they were talking on the phone, but she was doing some amazing things. And so I always, back then when we were getting, and I always say with men, it's about seeing the dollars. And in some sense, I started seeing checks come in the mailbox. And back then everything was done, I'm not trying to tell our age, how long we've been doing this, but they were sending checks out. And so at the end of the day, I kept saying these checks had my name and her name on it. And she always said, I wish I hadn't done that. But I got bored one day and saw a check come in, and it was 2 checks. And I opened one of the checks up. And one of those checks was a check with a comma in it. And I was like, okay. And my thing back in the day when a lot of people don't understand about law enforcement guys, a lot of times we wanted to work off duty, do all these other jobs and try to make extra income. And when I saw this check had more income in it in one check that I was able to do off duty for 2 months.
Wow.
And this is how good it was. And so I immediately said, look, we need to sit down and talk about this and see what this is going on. But she had already been doing it for several months. I don't know how many months had you been, probably about 6 months, maybe?
I don't remember.
She don't remember. But she was happy because every time I turn around, she was bringing TJ Maxx and Ross and all kinds of store bags into the house. And I was like, doing her thing. But at the end of the day, it just opened my eyes to the possibilities. And then I just couldn't let her do it by herself. So then we partnered up at that time. And that's some other stuff that happened too that was very interesting, but I ain't gonna talk too much. I'm gonna let her talk about it.
No, I'm telling you, it's very interesting. Now, you definitely brought up one topic that I didn't have it set for this evening, but I think it's a great segue since you mentioned it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of law enforcement, current and retired, as well as military personnel that's part of this business. So I know that the company just recently started this whole program geared towards law enforcement for that very reason, where they are doing so much. I mean, now mind you, a lot of them like doing things for the community, which is fantastic. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But like you're saying, to get involved in this type of business, one trip can probably, and the commission from that can probably cover what the average police officer is doing as a side gig for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, you're right, because once we got to going, I gave up all of that. I didn't have to go back and do any of those type of jobs anymore. It was just my main job as an investigator with the city that I work with, and that was it. I gave it all up, and we were doing this on the side, and it was a great part-time opportunity. And so and I know a lot of people sometimes feel like law enforcement are hard to approach with this, but if you give them a really good explanation, because we are about the facts, but if you're really able to explain how this can change their future, I was excited because the fact that I did the decision that I made 10 years ago put us where we are now. We're doing fairly well in this industry. We've done really well over the years in this industry. And so being able to, share this with other law enforcement, retired as well as active, is something that's changing. And now we're changing the mindset of a lot of people out here that are now looking at being involved in this industry. And it's great. It really is a great opportunity, because I know that some people on here know law enforcement as well as military. And we have a lot of those individuals that are doing great in this industry right now, which is amazing.
I mean, because you know that the number 2 income earner in our organization is former military, retired military.
That is cool.
And yeah, and he's doing extremely well. So, and this is again, I mean, it seems like this conversation is just seriously flowing, because when I started, of course, with me being single, I'm reaching out to all of my friends that were single, or people who were joining immediately were singles. Were single because of the fact that that's pretty much my circle. But I've started seeing very quickly, as I got into the business, that there were a significant number of couples and who have a similar story such as yours, where their wife may have started. In some instances, I have, some of our business partners who indicated it was the husband who initially started and encouraged the wife to join. So it's great that, you started seeing, you had to see the checks.
I had to see the checks. And I mean, and honestly, it opened my eyes, because I told her, look, we need to sit down at the table and have a conversation about this. Because actually there had been 8 checks or more that had come in before that comma check. She never told me what those other checks consisted.
Okay.
Never told me. She had her own account. She was doing her thing. I was like, okay, we need to figure this one out here. But it turned out, man, we've had so much fun together. And that's the beautiful thing. We're in an industry where it is fun. And that's where it excites me. The fact that, we have done this journey together and have really had a ride together. Yeah.
So Danette, I'm gonna put you on the spot. I call you Danny. So,
Okay.
How excited were you that when Dale indicated that he had an interest in joining you?
Well, that's an interesting story, because we had a few trips that were planned. And I knew I was going, but it was hard to try to tell my husband, or at least ask him to come along with me, when he had these preconceived notions about what I was doing. So we invited him, or shall I say, me and my sponsors, we invited him to come along with us to Florida. And I will let him share the story with you. But it was quite an interesting journey. But I wanted to share with my husband what I was doing and how much fun I thought this really could be. And at the time, it was prosperous. And so we wanted to, I wanted to at least share with him, hey, this is what I'm really doing, and look how much fun we're having. So I invited him to an event called the Yacht Event that our company has been having for many years. And I will let Mr. Montague share with you a little bit more about the Yacht Event and how he decided that he wanted to join me after that event.
Well, I didn't want to go. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't want to go. She got me, all roused up and said, well, you need to come and go with me and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right. I'm going to go to this event. And I wasn't talking to her. We sometimes don't talk. This was bad. But anyway, sometimes we weren't talking when we got to the airport. And we weren't mad with each other. I was just not saying anything because I didn't want to go. And so we got on the plane, and I didn't say nothing all the way down to Florida. And when we got off the plane, went to the rental car counter and back at the counter. And back then, we had travel ID cards that identified you as a travel professional. And so my wife was like, well, show the man your travel card. See if you can get a discount or something. And I was like, this card ain't going to do nothing. So I showed the man the card. And sure enough, they gave us an upgrade and a discount on the rental car.
Awesome.
So, but we don't ask for it, but it was what they gave us. And so basically what happened was we got the car and I was like, okay, all right, I'm kind of liking this a little bit. And so when we got to the 4-star, Yeah, 4-star, 5-star hotel, and it was on a marina, and there were yachts and boats, and I mean, okay, I'm stepping out now. I'm getting a little loose. We get to the counter, and once we get in, and I talk to the people, and turns out the rooms were 300 and some, 300 what, maybe 300 and they were over $300. We ain't gonna tell you all the stories. They were, and they went down quite a bit from there, for one night. And I was like, this is amazing. And then when we went to the room, it was laid out. I'm gonna tell it, okay? It was laid out, and it was nice hotel. And when we got on the yacht cruise, this is what made the difference. And I'll tell you this, guys. When we got on the yacht cruise, they also set it up for me to meet the founder of this company, to meet the founder himself. And I didn't know him at the time. And so they kind of worked it out where at some point he and I were one-on-one together. And for 15 minutes, a 15-minute conversation. And you'll hear him say sometime, Dale Montague, you were the one that helped me keep that yacht cruise going. But we had a 15-minute conversation. And ever since that conversation, it changed my life.
Wow.
Changed my life. And now here we are.
And it's interesting because that's an annual event with our organization, Eagle Weekend.
Right.
And, heading down to Miami and taking that yacht around. It's an experience, isn't it?
We love it. We love it. We try not to miss it now.
Okay. So I know with one of the prior guests, I had to throw this question out there because clearly our motto is designing your ideal life. So how is that motto? What is it with that motto that really speaks to you? What does that mean to you when you hear designing your ideal life with this business?
Well, if I may say so, when it comes to having something in addition to you that gives you some, give you the capabilities of earning more income, you are having fun. I mean, and to me, that speaks to upgrading your lifestyle, if you will. It's not, what you do, it's how you live your life and your lifestyle. And a lot of that also coupled with education, culture. When I was a kid, my parents were both educators, and they always told me that, yes, education is the most important, but you definitely want culture. So with me being in the travel industry has given me all of those things, plus more, time freedom. I don't quite have the time freedom that I need, but I know I'm working toward that. Financial freedom definitely is something that I'm poised to do well in the industry, and I've done well. But with this company, it's more exciting and looking to do more financially and have more financial freedom. And of course, personal freedom is always. So I loved when they coined our three design life ideas for this company. And they really do speak to people and how they can transform their life into doing something that you're doing anyway, and you're having fun. And besides that, travel is the largest industry in the world. So what else tops this? So I think that was great when they posed the three time freedom, personal freedom, and financial freedom into designing your ideal life for the company. I think it works well, and it speaks to a lot of other people's opinions on what it means to design their ideal life.
And it's interesting that you said that, because for me, the financial freedom is a given. Everybody wants financial freedom, but what's priceless to me is that personal freedom and that time freedom. Not having that boss, not having someone hanging over your shoulder, not having to deal with the office politics or whatever foolishness that may be coming around it. Now, mind you, there's a lot of positive things that happen in the office environment or work environment. But, most often, and correct me if I'm wrong, when we're talking with people, it's just friendly conversations with friends, nothing that has anything to do with business. It always comes back to that personal freedom and that time freedom, and not having people hanging over your shoulder, people bringing that negativity into your life. And that's what really spoke to me. And, and as far as I was concerned, everybody travels. And, we'll talk a little bit more about traveling in the pandemic, but everybody travels. So it's like you don't only have to look for clients; they naturally navigate to you for to to help plan their trips. But then when they realize that they can actually be coming back home to a check, in addition to traveling, that it just seems like it's a win-win, and that's when people really get clued in as far as everything that this business can bring to you.
Yes,
That's right.
I agree.
One of the things I say is, for me being retired, it was just so important to be able to have that time, to be able to, travel and enjoy life with my wife. And a lot of times we look at other people, we look at how they do it. Sometimes you try to compare yourself to them and you can't do it. And so what you do is you just kind of, make things better for you, make the roadmap. I like what Danette said about preparation, studying and doing all of that to be able to get to that point where you can enjoy yourself. And what other industry is better than travel? I mean, this is just amazing to be retired, be in a travel industry, do some travel trips, and then get a check. Oh, that's just, to be able to benefit from that so many different ways. It's amazing. It's just simply amazing.
And it's awesome because of the fact that it doesn't matter where you are in your life. This is the perfect industry for everyone. We talk about the various generations and how they are impacting the travel industry overall. Like the baby boomers are the ones who are pretty much funding it. But then you have the millennials who have taken a totally different focus, whereas the material items don't matter to them. They want to be able to travel. So, as long as you're over 18, this is an industry that's for you. And think about it, Dale, how many people have held off on their retirement because they just don't know if they can afford to retire, or how many, especially within this organization, who were able to retire or retire early or had this plan ready to roll as they retired. So when you speak with anyone, like I said, excuse me, now I got to sneeze. Okay. 18 years or older, and especially the ones in their early 20s, they are taking this, and they're taking it to all new levels. But we're not going to leave the seniors out who are on the verge of retiring or retired, and how they have a lifestyle they didn't realize could actually happen for them, whether it was lack of preparation or they were well prepared. That they didn't want to come home and just sit. Well, now they have this business, and that is taking them to whole new levels in their lives.
And you're right, because it's just, bless you. It's just that there's so many, people that can benefit from the travel industry. Like you said, something about retirement. In my case, I was kind of not really forced into retirement, but in as a public servant, you have so many years that you do, and then you retire and you get a pension for it. And for me, I would have lost money to keep working. So in my case, I was glad to be able to retire when I did. But when I retired, I had already had this thing moving. So it's kind of like I stepped from one platform to another platform. And now it's something you said is very important, because the millennials and the Generation Z and all the other ones out there, they're not thinking about working no 9 to 5.
Right.
They're about trying to make theirs as quick as they can. So if you show them an opportunity where they can go out and they can really, really benefit from this main industry, they're looking at trying to retire, because we know retirement has nothing to do with age. It's all about your income.
Right.
So, we're just, I'm just excited to be. And my daughter, she's in school now, and she talks about, how she wants to be her own business owner and not work for anybody. And one of the things we taught her is that, this is an industry, of course, that she's looking at as well, that, she could take a part of and share with her friends.
Right. Right.
And so that's a wonderful thing that we like about being in this industry. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I recall with some of our meetings, and definitely, now that we're doing everything via Zoom, how many of the business partners who are in their early to mid 20s, who are making 6-figure incomes, who have actually retired and are doing this full time for the rest of their lives. So again, like you said, those other generations, they're not trying to do the 40-40-40 plan where it's 40 years, working 40 years for 40% of your income. So
correct. That's correct. It's a mindset now, because the kids now, they're thinking like that.
Mm-hmm.
They can look at this opportunity and they're just making, we look at what's happening with our relationship with people over in the UK and tell us what they're doing, and people all over the world are taking advantage of this opportunity, and young people, like you said. And so, we could probably look at down the road where there are going to be a lot of young millionaires in this company. A lot.
Right. And look at the fact, I mean, we're in a significant number of countries. I think it's 22 countries. And like Jamaica, where they may not have had this option of making six figures because of the economy on their particular islands. Now they're able to get involved with this type of business, and they are now heading or in the six-figure range as well. So that's the whole point. It's like, I know we're expanding even more, but 22 countries to date, and that just speaks volumes as to how this has become such a lifesaver for so many people. So
That's right.
Absolutely.
okay, so what is the best advice you can offer other couples to encourage them to focus on a home-based business such as this?
Wow. Well, my husband and I we've had some life lessons, and I definitely would say to get involved and own a home-based business. I definitely would definitely advise that. Now, what you want to own, of course, that's personal preference and what you like, but definitely travel is something that no one is allergic to. And if I had to, tag our industry, of course, I would softly advise the travel industry because it does allow you some of those things, lifestyle, financial freedom. So it can really be incorporated, if you will, with what you're already doing. So definitely a home-based business, yes, as a suggestion. Always have your plan B and a plan C. Again, I'm plugging in the travel industry because I definitely would advise that as well. But it has been different, and we've made nice income, but there's more potential to make more income, and you're always wanting to have something to fall back on. And I think that is very important for anyone, and especially now that we've gone through something that we've never gone through before as a country. The pandemic has really opened our eyes to a lot of things. And if you're already home in the technical realm, meaning, e-commerce, you're online, we're on Zoom now, as opposed to being physically in a presentation. This is ideal, having a home-based business because we're home-based right now for the most part.
One of the things that I was sitting here thinking is the fact that, there's so many people right now that lost their A-plan job. And for some like an opportunity like what we're doing, working from home, and a lot of people say, travel is really not getting it right now. But I have to say the different, because we see that there's so many people still getting ready to that are traveling, and that the industry in the travel is about to open up wide open. So for a couple that's about to start, number one, I say this. I say that, you got to be patient and educate yourself, and have an understanding that you both got strengths and weaknesses. Danny and I, we're able to bounce off each other because I understand what her strengths are. She understands what my strengths are. So we get to bring those together, and I don't try to, I try to do what I can to assist her always, and we do it together. But as always a key, one of the beautiful things is, as a couple, we're still married, so we have to be able to take the time to be able to have time for ourselves. So, I see a lot of people that get into these opportunities and they get in home-based businesses, and it leads to destroying their marriage because they just don't take the time to remember who they are, the time to be able to have those special moments together and just put the phone down for just a second and then pick it up and then work hard with it. Because, you gotta have those moments where you can really drive and push. So I always tell couples that, look, this is amazing because we're in travel. What other industry can you have fun in and be married in? and enjoy, because we've done some amazing trips and we're looking forward to what this year has. I know this year is going to be kind of slowly opening up, but when 2022 gets here, I don't know if you're going to see very much of us because we're going to be on islands and everything we can think of, and to be able to enjoy and take advantage of what this world has to offer. And be able to make income at the same time, because I'm gonna invite families and friends and be able to set up their group with them and their trip, and they can come on and hang out too, and bring their couples, and we can all have a great. So anyway,
So just think about it, Dale. We'll be able to do Epic Women Uniting on location, right?
there you go. Hey, that's right. Yeah, and that's one of the things too that a lot of people don't realize, that right now a lot of the travel is pretty much going to places where you can drive to.
Right.
Don't worry about trying to get on a plane right now if you don't want to. Don't worry about, the cruise industry is going to eventually get there, but when they do get there, you probably on the East Coast, you can drive to a port. You don't have to worry about flying. You can drive within a distance and get on a ship. But at the end of the day, there's so many things right now that we can do to be able to enjoy life, to just have a little getaway moment, and just got to be careful. That's all, and just continue to think about the way things are, and we can still have some fun.
And you hit it right on the head. I mean, basically, over the last year or so, the whole focus has literally been thinking outside the box. This entire world has had to figure out how to make things happen from day to day and think outside the box, be creative, to be able to sustain a lifestyle. And so that's just going to continue happening. Like you said, a lot of what we focused on was road trips. We had our organization meeting a few weeks ago. They gave the projections for this year, and for our host agency, it's projected that it's going to be $1 billion of travel sold for this year. So that's why you just stressed. And it was interesting because I was watching another interview this morning, and I feel like, everyone in the media is saying the exact same thing. This is the time to now stretch yourself, to now really focus. You should be able to come out of this pandemic 10 times better than when you went in, meaning that the opportunities are there. It's just whether or not you are going to embrace it. And one thing I really loved was the fact that, everyone was wearing pearls for an inauguration in support of our new VP. But it's like, now take those pearls, take each one of those pearls and let them become pearls of wisdom. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, it shouldn't come down to this person's destiny or this person's dream came true. Make your dreams come true. Right. Reach out. We're giving you a lot of information here. I've got a lot of co-hosts that are coming, that are on the schedule. I'm going to see if I can make you two more of a norm. Talk to Danny for a while. But that's the whole point. It's like, this is the time to really grow. This is the time to pursue your dreams and make some things happen. So
that's correct.
Okay, so I know we got to wind this down, but I have one more, hopefully, zinger for you. What does 2021 mean for you?
Woosah. It has been 2020 was quite a year, and I mean that in good faith. But 2021 has definitely has a crown written on it for me. It has to be some goals that I'm definitely going to hit. There are things that that are just in my view that I want to reach for the stars, and I guess if you don't reach the stars, and you can at least fall amongst the reach for the moon, and you can fall amongst the stars.
Fall amongst the stars, right?
Yeah, that's it. But I definitely am looking forward to more collaboration. I'm a people person, and I really love connecting. And I have a goal to connect with more people and use the platform that I have, honestly, just me, my personal self, make myself the best self that I can be, connect with some new people, and create some new partnerships. That's one of the goals that I have. And get back to some financial goals that
Right.
that I really had last year, but didn't hit them. But this year, I feel like we're going to, put forth our best foot forward and recreate some dreams of some things that my husband and I have on our wish list.
Yeah, I just feel like this year is going to be an amazing year. I just know it is because we have experienced, like you said, I've I've been around for a while, and I've experienced a lot of things in life, and to see what we've experienced over the last year is just mind-boggling. But at the end of the day, as we go into 2021, we have talked about what our plans are, where we want to be financially, where we're, preparing ourselves a little different now. Because at the end of the day, you want to be in a position to be able to take advantage of the explosion, especially in travel, that's going to be coming along. I've been training myself in the travel industry. My wife, she's very educated in the travel industry. And we have been able to take this year, look at things differently because now, with what's about to come, because I know that it's coming. We just got to give it a little bit of time. But we need to, it's kind of like what you said, you got to be ready for it. You really want to be in the water to catch the wave. You don't want to be standing back and looking and saying, hey, look, maybe I think about this, maybe I take a little step. No, you want to be in this opportunity of travel to be able to know that it's going to happen. And, I always say faith is something that you just got to believe in. And you got to be able to understand that the best is yet to come. Does not yet appear what we shall be. So I'm just excited about this year. And 2021 is going to be a caveat. It's going to take us on into the next 5 years where a lot of us are going to be setting ourselves financially separate from where we are now. And we just need to just embrace that and take that ride. So let's get ready to take it all together.
And you've hit it. I'm sorry, Danny.
No, I said, thank you.
And you've hit it around the head because a lot of the conversations that I have, of course, people who aren't in the travel industry are thinking no one travels. And like I was saying earlier with our host agency as projected for this year. And I'm sure you all will have the same story that, as soon as January hit, clients are back in touch again. And I definitely plan on offering group travel, basically probably from like May on. But clients were immediately reaching out. They wanted to get travel going. Some will be road trips, driving to resorts and things like that. Or in some instances, driving across country, hitting certain types of landmarks or historical, whatever was of interest to them. But, I think that's the whole point with starting this business. Now is the time. I have no regrets from when I started. It was, travel was at a prime time at that particular point.
Right.
But at the same point, I was trying to learn everything I need to learn on the travel side, plus help clients get their travel together. So it was a lot that came flying at you at one time. And this is more of a balance where you can get in, learn more about the travel part of it, because our company offers so much with training as well as our suppliers. And then also have the luxury of being able to help clients on a much more lighter scale right now because it's starting to build back up. And it's always interesting to me how people want to jump in and invest in stocks, which is a great thing. That's another great, another area where people have mastered it or trying to master it. But this is the same thing of investing in yourself, knowing that there is a huge explosion coming. To start this business is so ridiculously low. It was funny because I was talking with a prospective business partner a few weeks ago, and I was telling her how much it was going to cost, $200 to start your business. And she kept thinking, I was saying, when I'm trying to remember exactly the way I worded it, she was thinking 2,000 or 20,000. And she kept saying back, she says, okay, 200, that's part of it. Now what else? And I could say, no, it's only 200. And she's like, well, okay, well, that covers that part, but what about, and I'm like, no, total $200 to start. Okay, that's it. One time. You pay that one time, and then everything else is involved. It covers all your training, your website. So you can't get anything better than this at such a pathetically low cost, a turnkey business with success coaches that are there to help you be successful. And the fact that we've got to meet each other, we meet people around the world, we're building up a network of just fun people, whether they're part of the business or they're clients. And, in my opinion, it's just a win-win. So yes, 2021, I think we all had a sigh of relief. Just we felt like we could breathe again. And now this just hit the ground running.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
First of all, I was just thinking it's just, this is just amazing that's about to take place. And we're just excited about taking this journey together. So we're really going to be moving and shaking here this year.
Exactly. So all of our audience that are out there that has joined in on this live this evening from whatever platform, because I know we broadcast out to several different social media sites. You heard a lot from us this evening about this business. If you have an interest, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you get started. This has just been such a phenomenal experience all the way around. And like I said, meeting people around the world has just been awesome. So Danny, before we go, I definitely want you, I love the name of your travel company. So please share that before we close.
It is Sassy Yet Classy Travel. And it is also a part of our LLC, which is Oski Enterprise. So we do have a company within a company. And we've had the Oski name for many years since we started in travel. So
awesome.
That is it. Classy, sassy yet classy travel. That's me.
Totally love it. So which one of y'all sassy and which one is yet classy?
I'm both.
She's both. I'm just off the enterprise travel.
Okay, so Dale and Danny, thank you so much. So hopefully you'll agree to coming back frequently, if not on a weekly basis. I'll work on y'all with that one.
Thank you. We're so excited. Thank you for having us. And next time we'll be a little more ready.
I feel you were ready to see it, and you did great. Okay. Great. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great